Hello, everybody. This is Darren Redmond for Redmond's Morning Glory, brought to you by Cigar Fino here on FHT Live. Well, the big game, and if you're using YouTube, right? If you're using YouTube, you see just the nonsense about the upcoming Super Bowl. They have to call it the big game. So when they're trying to sell you YouTube Premium or whatever it's called, and they're trying to say watch it live, they can't say the Super Bowl. They have to say the big game. All right, it is what it is. But then again, they'll talk about freedom of speech. Anyway, it is what it is. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about people have actually been just hit in my inbox with private messages about who do I think will win the Super Bowl. And you know I don't play the spread, even though it's sitting at 2.5 right now. That is the purview of the hockey guru. He is the spread person. We're going to be in Vegas in a couple of weeks. That should be a lot of fun. We love taking FHT sports on the road. Well, so what's going to happen? Darren, you're 9-1, and I feel really good about that. This is one of those games that really can go back and forth, and a lot of them really are, right? And if you dive a little deep and get out of just this preordained nonsense about one team or the other and kind of take a deeper dive into the numbers, you'll see what I'm talking about. Very rarely is there a blowout in the Super Bowl. We've seen that with the Bills and the Cowboys. We've seen a couple that didn't have that big of a point differential. We saw a big punch in the mouth, didn't we? When Doug Williams, and who could forget his performance? And he basically punched Denver in the mouth with just score after score after score, and it wasn't even a game. If you look at these multi-wins over the course of 18 years or so, where the Patriots have won, what is it, 5, 6 Super Bowls? 5 Super Bowls, I believe. None of them are blowouts. They stay in the game. So what does that tell you? It tells you that during crunch time, the Patriots step up. It tells you that they differentiate themselves from the way that other teams have attacked these teams. It also lets you know, and this is what I think about them, and there's no shade on this, there's no luck. I've never seen a team in any sport take advantage of mistakes that another team makes. At the end of the day, you can talk about how great Tom Brady is and throwing this many yards and that many yards, and that could be true. And a lot of times it is true. But Belichick has this team ready to take advantage of any time that's left, any opportunity that presents itself due to a fumble or anything else. And when I see some of these people on television or on vlogs just kind of talk about how Brady is bringing Belichick along, it's absolutely asinine. It's absolutely asinine. Because you saw that victory last week, right? And we said that 2 weeks ago, because we saw that disgusting Pro Bowl last week. We said that what was going to happen is exactly what happened, running the ball. So does Tom Brady draft the offensive lineman? No, not at all. So that's Belichick and the GM and the crew there. So they put together these very specific game plans. The way that Edelman was open in overtime was just horrifying. Sitting that too deep was just terrible. I mean, how you did not know that this is what the man was going to do. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that tomorrow's game will not be a blowout, but I actually think it's going to be a little bit more one-sided than people think. There's only one way to really, actually the Eagles showed this 2 ways. There's only 2 ways to beat the Patriots. One is trying to outscore them and hope that they make a big mistake along the way. And that's how the Eagles won last year. Some trick plays, touchdown, the pass to Nick Foles, the fact that Tom Brady, as he's apt to do, put a little pressure on him. He gets the jiggy legs and he fumbles the ball and cries, and usually the referee will come up with some sort of beautiful reason to call a flag. That tuck rule is disgusting. And if you want to tell me that they got the call right, shame on you. Because then you better never watch baseball with the neighborhood play. That was a fumble. But again, no shade on the Patriots. We know, and again, I've been picking them throughout this whole thing. We know that they take advantage of every opportunity. And Adam Vinatieri kicking that field goal in a literal blizzard was amazing. So, and I've heard this a couple times. The Patriots can have 6 or 8 losses in the Super Bowl. And again, the people talk about how tough the AFC is. It's not. It's not. Do you really, at the end of the day, fear the Steelers? They can't get their locker room together. They can't. You really were banking on Mahomes, a rookie quarterback, coming up big when he had to? He didn't do bad. He didn't do bad with a coach that got to the Super Bowl once, but usually doesn't cut his meat properly and chokes up a little bit in the playoffs like Andy Reid does. We know that's going on. My point is the malaise that has been the AFC has been taking place forever. The Patriots are in the weakest division in football. And with the Miami Dolphins, with the Jets, and the Buffalo Bills. It's just terrible. I mean, it reminds me of Alabama down south in the SEC, doesn't it? They could walk to their games. It's very close travel. They'd be ready to go. They could sleep in their own beds an extra night or whatever the case may be. And the team's been ludicrous. The Jets a few years ago were the closest thing to a team that could regularly beat the Patriots. And how you do that is pressure up the middle and slam him legally, not late. Hit him, hit him, hit him. Even with the referees trying to protect the China doll that is Tom Brady, that's what they do. And again, you got Wes Walker at one time, then you got Edelman. And both of these players are who? Who are these players? If you know anything about football, they're Wayne Chrebet. Wayne Chrebet of the Jets is that prototype, that slot receiver. Kevin Swain was doing that before then. But that's what you have right now. And if you don't know that or you want to say that I'm wrong, look it up, and I don't need an apology. But, even the NFL Network talks about the top 10 undrafted players. Wayne Chrebet's number 10. He was a better player than Keyshawn Johnson was. So basically, they're taking that model. You ever hear of Brandon Stokely? Same kind of model. Slot receiver, clutch receiver. Dave Casper was that, but playing out of the tight end position in the 70s. So, who's going to win the Super Bowl tomorrow? The Patriots, until you prove them wrong, should be the favorite, and they are. However, I'm picking the Rams. And not because I'm a hater of the Patriots, because you could crunch the numbers. And yes, I get it. The spread, Vegas gets it right again. But you can crunch the numbers. But Donald up the middle. And again, the MVP is not Tom Brady. And people, I love Tom Brady. So people get paid by saying Tom Brady or Belichick. The truth is, with the Patriots' wonderful season, is the offensive line. That offensive line creating holes. That offensive line making sure that Tom Brady is not hit. And that goes to their GM, and that goes to the head coach Belichick. And again, that's no shade, on Tom Brady. And again, those people, and I get it, but it's like, well, you say this is great, well, you're saying this sucks. No, I'm not saying Tom Brady sucks. He's a wonderful player. I don't think he's the GOAT, because I don't think you can have a GOAT. I think he's the greatest right now. And when I say there can't be a GOAT overall, the game was different. All you have to do is look at Dallas-Pittsburgh. The hit that Terry Bradshaw takes on that deep touchdown pass to Lynn Swann knocks him out of the game. Brady has never hit like that. Much less in a Super Bowl, much less in 16 games. So, and if you don't realize that the defense was able to clutch, grab until 77, 78, the game is different. So when you want to look at championships to say he's the greatest athlete of all time, well, I'm on record as saying I think Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all times. I truly do. Now you want to look at if Tom Brady was a prize fighter, 6-3, really? That's like a Jake LaMotta record. Now it doesn't mean that he's trash. Very, very good quarterback. Now, why do I think the Rams are going to win? because the Rams have one player who was benched for the second half of the championship game, and he wasn't angry about it. He knew it was the right move to do. That lets me know that there's no disharmony in that locker room. The goal is clear: win the game. Now, the Rams have won ugly. Goff has done okay, very pedestrian over the last couple of weeks. He'll do enough because that defensive secondary can be exposed if the running game is working. I think Gurley is going to just take over this game. I think he's going to drain clock. And again, and for those of you that follow me on my vlogs, thank you very much. You're learning something that most people who played the sport understand. You drain clock from the minute the game starts sometimes, unless you're doing the no-huddle offense. So what does that mean? Instead of snapping the ball with 13 seconds left, you snap the ball with 1 second left, 2 seconds left. Doesn't matter that the defense is going to know what the cadence is. If you feel you got the right play set, you'll still do fine. So I think what the Rams are going to do is do running and a lot of play action. And then Tom Brady will chuck the ball around like he can or like he does. If the game allows... if the game dictates that the Rams defense gets pressure up the middle, because there's nobody better. I'm giving Tom Brady a huge compliment. There's nobody better in the league right now at moving in and out of the pocket than Tom Brady. Nobody better. Get him out of the pocket, he's a little shaky. Ask him to catch a pass like last year in the Super Bowl where he dinosaur Tyrannosaurus Rexed his arms like a frightened little soul. That happened as well. If you don't think that happened, we can agree to disagree. So, do I think the Patriots can win? Sure. Do I think they will? No. I think the Patriots lose by 11. I think Gurley or Donald is the MVP of the Super Bowl. And I think the fact that the Patriots have won so many Super Bowls and now will lose their 4th Super Bowl will not be a stain on the record, but it will let people realize how awful, absolutely awful the AFC is. Just absolutely terrible. Mail in those games kind of thing. Just terrible. So, we should have a good game tomorrow. We'll talk about it maybe Sunday night, maybe Monday morning. We'll see. Let me know what you think. This is Darren Redmond for FHT Sports, brought to you by the new Cigar Fino.